Dr. Marcus Thompson pulled his thick coat tighter as he stepped outside Ice Station Omega. The wind howled across the frozen surface of Titan, carrying ice crystals that sparkled in the pale sunlight. He loved this place. The endless white landscape reminded him of home in Alaska, except here the cold was even more bitter and beautiful. Marcus had been living on this research station for 8 months now. As the lead marine biologist, his job was to study the strange life forms that existed in the ocean far below the ice. The water down there was dark and mysterious, filled with creatures that could survive in conditions that would kill most things on Earth. The station housed 12 people in total. There was Lisa Rodriguez, the chief engineer who kept all their equipment running. Jake Miller was their pilot, always ready to fly the transport shuttle when supplies arrived from Earth. David Chen handled communications, making sure they stayed connected to the home world millions of miles away. The rest of the team included doctors, scientists, and technicians who all worked together to unlock the secrets of this frozen moon. Life on Ice Station Omega was not easy, but Marcus found it peaceful. Every morning he would check the temperature readings. Today it was minus 30 degrees Celsius outside. That was actually warm for Titan. Sometimes it dropped to minus 60 or even lower. The humans had learned to live with the cold. Their heated buildings, thick clothing, and careful planning kept them safe and comfortable. Marcus was checking the ice drilling equipment when David's voice crackled over the radio from the communications room. "Marcus, you need to get in here right now," David said. His voice sounded strange, excited but also nervous. Marcus hurried back inside, stamping the ice off his boots. The station's main corridor was warm and bright, a welcome change from the frozen world outside. He found David staring at his computer screens with wide eyes. "What's wrong?" Marcus asked. "Something big is coming," David replied. "Really big. My instruments picked up a massive object approaching from the outer system. It's not one of our supply ships." Marcus looked at the screen. A bright dot was moving steadily toward Titan. The computer calculated its size and speed. Whatever it was huge and moving faster than any human spacecraft could travel. "Could it be a meteor?" Marcus suggested. David shook his head. "No way. Look at this movement pattern. It's changing direction, slowing down. That's definitely artificial." Within an hour, the entire station was buzzing with activity. Lisa ran diagnostics on all their systems. Jake prepared the shuttle just in case they needed to evacuate quickly. The other team members gathered in the main lab, watching the approaching object on the big display screen. "It's stopping," David announced. "Whatever it is, it's taking position in orbit around Titan." Marcus felt his heart pounding. First contact with alien life had always been a possibility, but he never thought it would happen here on this frozen research station. He tried to stay calm as he activated the station's emergency protocols. "Send a message to Earth Command," he told David. "Let them know what's happening." "Already done," David replied. "But it will take hours for the signal to reach Earth, and hours more for any response to come back." The waiting was the hardest part. The alien ship remained in orbit, silent and mysterious. The humans continued their work, but everyone kept glancing at the screens, wondering what would happen next. Then, just as the station's artificial evening was beginning, everything changed. "Incoming transmission," David called out. "It's coming from the alien ship." The main display screen flickered to life. Instead of static or strange symbols, clear images appeared. 2 figures stood in what looked like a control room. They were tall and thin with scaly skin that gleamed under bright lights. Their heads were elongated with large golden eyes and small openings where a human would have a nose. "Greetings," one of the aliens said. The voice was translated by some kind of device, making it sound electronic but understandable. "We are peaceful explorers from the Valdari Republic. I am Ambassador Keth, and this is Science Officer Vex. We detected your settlement and wish to communicate. Marcus stepped forward, his mind racing. This was really happening. Real aliens were talking to them. "Welcome to Titan," Marcus replied. "I'm Dr. Marcus Thompson, leader of Ice Station Omega. We're scientists from Earth, studying this moon and its ocean life." Ambassador Keth tilted his head in what might have been curiosity. "You live on this frozen world by choice?" "Yes," Marcus said. "We've been here for months conducting research." Science Officer Vex moved closer to their viewing device. "Fascinating. Our instruments show extremely low temperatures on your moon's surface. How do you survive such conditions?" Marcus smiled. "Humans are pretty good at adapting to cold weather. We have heating systems and protective clothing." The two aliens exchanged what looked like worried glances. Ambassador Keth spoke again. "Dr. Thompson, our species evolved on a desert world where temperatures never drop below 40 degrees Celsius. For us, exposure to freezing conditions means instant death. We are amazed that intelligent life can exist in such a hostile environment." "It's not hostile to us," Marcus explained. "Cold weather is normal for many humans. Some of our cities on Earth have winter temperatures colder than what we experience here." Vex was studying readings on his instruments. "Incredible! Your biology must be completely different from ours. We came here expecting to find a dead world covered in ice." "Would you like to meet in person?" Marcus offered. "You could visit our station or we could meet you somewhere else." Ambassador Keth looked alarmed. "Dr. Thompson, we could never survive in your environment even with protective equipment. The cold would kill us in minutes. Similarly, we are concerned for your safety. Our ship maintains internal temperatures that would be lethal to most life forms we have encountered." "We understand," Marcus said. "Perhaps we can find a way to meet safely. We have some ideas." The conversation continued for another hour. The Valdari explained that they were conducting a survey of this solar system, looking for signs of life and possible planets for colonization. They had never expected to find an advanced civilization thriving in conditions they considered absolutely deadly. As the communication ended, Marcus looked around at his team. Everyone was smiling and talking excitedly. They had just made first contact with an alien species. But Marcus noticed something interesting in the aliens' reactions. The Valdari seemed genuinely worried about human survival in the cold. "They think we're going to die out here," Lisa said quietly. Marcus nodded. "They have no idea how tough humans really are." Outside, the wind continued to howl across the frozen landscape of Titan, but inside Ice Station Omega, everything had changed. Forever. 3 days had passed since the first contact with the Valdari. Marcus woke up early and checked the weather reports as usual. The temperature outside was minus 35 degrees, with strong winds blowing across the ice fields. It was a typical morning on Titan. The alien ship had moved closer to the moon's surface and was now hovering just above the atmosphere. Ambassador Keth and Science Officer Vex had been in constant communication with the human team, sharing information about their respective civilizations. Marcus walked to the communications room where David was already working at his station. On the main screen, Vex was examining what looked like detailed charts and graphs. "Good morning, Science Officer Vex," Marcus said. "Good morning, Dr. Thompson," Vex replied through the translation device. "I have been studying the data you shared about human biology. It is truly remarkable how your species can function in such extreme cold." Marcus smiled. "We've had millions of years to adapt. Our ancestors survived ice ages that covered much of our planet in glaciers." "Ice ages," Vex repeated slowly. "Your entire world was frozen?" "Large parts of it, yes. Humans learned to hunt, make fire, build shelters, and create warm clothing. We survived and grew stronger." Vex made notes on his device. "Fascinating. On our homeworld, even a small drop in temperature causes widespread death among our people. We have never experienced anything like what you describe." Ambassador Keth joined the conversation from another part of their ship. "Dr. Thompson, we have a proposal. Would you be willing to share more detailed information about human survival techniques? In exchange, we can offer you some of our advanced technology. That sounds fair, Marcus agreed. What kind of technology? We have improved energy systems, advanced materials, and medical equipment that might be useful for your research, Keth explained. Over the next few hours, both species began a careful exchange of knowledge. The humans shared information about cold weather survival, heating systems, and protective clothing. The Valdari provided technical specifications for their energy generators and scanning devices. Lisa was particularly interested in the alien technology. She worked with Vex to understand their power systems, which were far more efficient than anything humans had developed. Meanwhile, Jake learned about their spacecraft propulsion methods. But as the exchange continued, Marcus noticed that the aliens seemed increasingly worried about something. During their afternoon communication session, Ambassador Keth brought up his concerns. Dr. Thompson, our long-range sensors are detecting a massive weather system approaching your location. The temperature readings we are seeing are extremely alarming. Marcus checked his own weather instruments. Yes, we're expecting a big storm system to arrive in about 2 days. It happens regularly during this season. According to our calculations, the temperature will drop to -50 °C or lower, Vex said, his voice sounding urgent. Dr. Thompson, that level of cold exposure will be fatal for any known life form. Not for humans, Marcus replied calmly. We've dealt with storms like this before. Our station is well designed to handle extreme weather. Ambassador Keth moved closer to his communication device. Dr. Thompson, I think you do not understand the severity of this situation. No biological entity can survive in -50-degree temperatures. It is physically impossible. I appreciate your concern, Marcus said, but humans have lived and worked in temperatures that cold for thousands of years. Some of our research stations in Antarctica regularly experience those conditions. The alien leaders exchanged worried glances. Vex consulted his instruments again. Dr. Thompson, are you certain your equipment is giving you accurate readings? Perhaps there is some error in your temperature measurements. David joined the conversation. Our instruments are working perfectly. We've triple-checked all the readings. This is very troubling, Ambassador Keth said. We cannot stand by and watch an entire research team die from exposure to lethal cold. We must take action. What kind of action? Marcus asked. We are preparing to contact your Earth Command directly, Keth replied. They need to send immediate evacuation ships to remove all humans from this moon before the storm arrives. Marcus felt a mix of amusement and concern. The aliens were genuinely trying to save human lives, but they didn't understand that humans weren't in any real danger. Ambassador Keth, I can assure you that evacuation is not necessary. We are perfectly safe here. Dr. Thompson, with respect, I think you are underestimating the danger. On our world, exposure to even mild cold causes immediate organ failure and death. Your species cannot be so different from ours. Vex added more data to the conversation. Our medical scanners show that human biology is similar to ours in many ways. You have blood circulation, breathing systems, and temperature regulation that should not be able to cope with extreme cold. But we do cope with it, Lisa said, joining the discussion. Human bodies have special adaptations. We can increase blood flow, generate more heat, and survive in conditions that would kill other species. Impossible, Vex stated flatly. No biological system can function at those temperatures. The argument continued for hours. The aliens refused to believe that humans could survive the approaching storm, while the humans tried to explain their cold weather adaptations. Finally, Ambassador Keth made an announcement that surprised everyone. Dr. Thompson, we have sent a formal communication to your Earth Command, warning them of the approaching deadly weather system. We have recommended immediate evacuation of all human personnel from Titan and other cold weather installations throughout your solar system. Marcus felt his stomach drop. You contacted Earth Command without our permission. We could not stand by and watch you die, Keth replied. Your Earth leaders need to know that their people are in extreme danger. David quickly checked his communication logs. Marcus, I'm receiving multiple priority messages from Earth Command. They want to know about the alien contact and the weather. Warnings! This is getting complicated, Jake said quietly. Marcus took a deep breath. He understood that the aliens were trying to help, but their intervention could cause serious problems with Earth Command. Military leaders might interpret alien warnings as a threat or a sign that humans were weak and needed protection. Ambassador Keth, Science Officer Vex, we appreciate your concern for our safety, but please understand that humans are not as fragile as you think we are. Dr. Thompson, Keth said seriously, we have studied thousands of worlds and hundreds of different life forms. None of them can survive in the conditions you are about to face. We refuse to watch an entire species commit suicide by staying in a frozen wasteland. As the day ended, tensions were rising on both sides. The aliens remained convinced that the humans would die in the approaching storm. The humans were frustrated that their explanations weren't being believed. And now Earth Command was demanding answers about alien warnings of mass casualties. Marcus looked out at the darkening sky where the first signs of the approaching storm were becoming visible. In less than 2 days, they would have a chance to prove to the galaxy that humans were tougher than anyone imagined. But first, they had to deal with increasingly panicked aliens and confused Earth officials who were trying to understand why aliens thought humans were about to freeze to death. The storm hit Ice Station Omega exactly when the weather computers predicted it would. Marcus woke up to the sound of howling wind that was much stronger than usual. The building shook slightly as powerful gusts slammed against the reinforced walls. He checked his watch. It was 6 in the morning, Titan time. Outside his small window, everything was white. Snow and ice crystals flew through the air so thick that he could barely see 20 feet in any direction. Marcus got dressed in his regular station clothes and walked to the main control room. The temperature readings on the wall display showed minus 48 degrees Celsius outside, and it was still dropping. By afternoon, it would probably reach minus 55 or even lower. David was already at his communication station talking rapidly with someone on Earth. His face looked stressed and tired. "What's the situation with Earth Command?" Marcus asked. "Not good," David replied. "They're demanding that we evacuate immediately. The alien warnings have everyone in a panic back home. Admiral Peterson wants us on the next transport ship out of here." "And what did you tell him?" "The truth. That we're perfectly safe and the storm is just normal weather for Titan. But he's not listening. He thinks we're in shock and can't think clearly because of the extreme conditions." Marcus sighed. The situation was getting more complicated by the hour. He activated the communication link to the Valdari ship. "Ambassador Keth, Science Officer Vex, good morning. I hope you're both well." The screen flickered to life, showing both aliens in what appeared to be their ship's emergency command center. Multiple displays showed weather data and thermal readings from the moon's surface. "Dr. Thompson," Ambassador Keth said urgently, "the storm has begun. Our sensors show that the temperature has already dropped to lethal levels. You and your team must evacuate immediately." "We're doing fine," Marcus replied. "The storm is strong, but our station is handling it well." Vex pointed to his instruments. "Dr. Thompson, according to our readings, no biological life can survive in those conditions. The cold will freeze your blood and stop your hearts within minutes of exposure. We're not planning to go outside without proper protection," Marcus said. "But even if we did, humans can survive short exposures to extreme cold." "Impossible," Vex stated. "We have moved our ship to maximum distance from the moon to avoid damage from the thermal shock. Even our advanced hull materials are struggling. With the temperature readings we're detecting," Lisa joined the conversation from her engineering station, "our heating systems are working perfectly. Internal temperature is holding steady at 22 degrees Celsius. But what happens when your heating fails?" Ambassador Keth asked. "What happens when your power systems break down under this extreme stress?" "They won't break down," Lisa said confidently. We've tested all our systems for much worse conditions than this." The aliens exchanged worried glances. Marcus could see that they genuinely believed the humans were about to die. Their concern was real, even if it was completely unnecessary. "Ambassador Keth," Marcus said, "to prove that we're not in any danger, some of us are going to go outside and perform routine maintenance on our equipment." Both aliens looked horrified. Vex made rapid calculations on his device. "Dr. Thompson, exposure to -50-degree air will kill you in less than 3 minutes. Your body temperature will drop so fast that your brain will stop functioning." "I don't think so," Marcus replied. "Jake, Lisa, are you ready for some outside work?" "Sure thing," Jake said from across the room. "I need to check the landing pad for ice buildup anyway." "This is madness," Ambassador Keth said. "We are watching you commit suicide." The 3 humans put on their cold weather gear. Heavy coats, insulated boots, thick gloves, and protective face masks. It was the same equipment they used for regular outdoor work, nothing special or different. Marcus opened the station's main airlock. The wind immediately tried to push them back inside, but they stepped out into the storm. The cold hit them like a physical force, but it was nothing they hadn't experienced before. "Communications check," Marcus said into his radio. "We hear you." "Clearly," David replied from inside the station. "How are you feeling?" "Cold, but fine," Marcus said. "Just like any winter day back in Alaska." Through the communication system, they could hear Ambassador Keth talking rapidly in his own language to other members of his crew. Vex was monitoring their vital signs with the ship's medical scanners. "Remarkable," Vex said in English. "Their body temperatures are dropping, but much more slowly than we calculated, and their brain activity remains completely normal." Jake walked over to the landing pad and began clearing ice with a regular shovel. Lisa checked the external power connections and made some adjustments to the heating system controls. Marcus inspected the weather monitoring equipment. "How are you still functioning?" Ambassador Keth asked, his voice full of disbelief. "Human bodies are designed for this kind of weather," Marcus explained while working. "Our blood circulation adjusts automatically. We generate more heat internally. Our skin and muscles adapt to cold temperatures." "But the readings we're getting are impossible," Vex said. "You're working normally in conditions that should cause immediate organ failure." Lisa laughed. "You should see what some humans do for fun in weather like this. We have sports called ice hockey and skiing. People go swimming in frozen lakes. Some humans live their whole lives in places colder than this." "Swimming in frozen lakes?" Vex repeated. "That cannot be true." "It's absolutely true," Jake said. "My uncle back in Minnesota cuts holes in the ice every winter and goes fishing. Sometimes the air temperature is -40 degrees or worse." The aliens were quiet for several minutes while the humans continued their outdoor work. Finally, Ambassador Keth spoke again. "Dr. Thompson, we owe you an apology. Our understanding of biological limits was clearly incomplete." "No apology necessary," Marcus replied. "Every species is different. You've evolved for hot desert conditions. We've evolved to handle extreme cold." After 30 minutes outside, the 3 humans returned to the station. They removed their coats and gloves, completely unharmed by the experience. "Incredible," Vex said, studying his medical readings. "Not only did you survive, but your vital signs remained stable throughout the entire exposure." "Now, do you believe us when we say we're safe?" Marcus asked. "We're beginning to," Ambassador Keth admitted. "But, Dr. Thompson, we have one more concern. Our weather predictions show that this storm will get much worse over the next few days. Temperatures could drop to -60 degrees or lower." Marcus smiled. "That will be interesting. It's been a while since we've had weather that cold." "You sound almost excited about it," Vex observed. "In a way, we are," Marcus said. "Extreme weather tests our equipment and our skills. It reminds us what humans are capable of surviving." The storm continued to rage outside, but inside Ice Station Omega, the mood had changed. The humans felt proud of demonstrating their resilience. The aliens were beginning to understand that they had discovered something truly remarkable about human biology and adaptability. But the biggest surprises were yet to come. The storm had been raging for 2 full days now. Marcus looked at the temperature display and whistled softly. -58 degrees Celsius. It was officially the coldest weather Ice Station Omega had experienced since he arrived on Titan. Most of the team was busy with their regular work, but Marcus felt restless. The constant sound of wind and the gray view outside made him think of home. Back in Alaska, when he was stressed or bored, he would go fishing. It always helped him relax and think clearly. Marcus walked to the storage area and pulled out his fishing equipment: the automated ice auger, portable shelter, heating unit, and electronic fish finder. Everything he needed for a good day of ice fishing, even in extreme weather. "What are you doing?" Lisa asked as she saw him gathering his gear. "Going fishing," Marcus replied. "The lake about half a mile from here should have some good fish under the ice." "In this weather? Are you crazy?" Marcus grinned. "It's perfect." "Fishing weather. No crowds, quiet atmosphere, and the fish are probably hungry." David overheard the conversation from the communication station. "Marcus, the aliens are monitoring everything we do. If you go fishing in -58 degree weather, they're going to think you've lost your mind." "Maybe," Marcus said. "Or maybe it's time to show them what humans really do for fun." He activated the communication link to the Valdari ship. Ambassador Keth and Science Officer Vex appeared on the screen, both looking worried as usual. "Good. Afternoon," Marcus said cheerfully. "I wanted to let you know that I'm going fishing this afternoon." Both aliens stared at him in silence for several seconds. Finally, Vex spoke. "Dr. Thompson, did our translation system malfunction? Did you say you are going fishing?" "That's right. There's a lake nearby with good fish. I thought I'd spend a few hours out there." Ambassador Keth looked at his instruments. "Dr. Thompson, the current air temperature is -58 degrees Celsius. The wind speed is 40 kilometers per hour. These are absolutely lethal conditions." "It's a bit chilly," Marcus agreed, "but perfect for ice fishing." "Ice fishing?" Vex repeated. "You mean you intentionally go outside in freezing weather to catch aquatic life forms?" "It's a popular human activity," Marcus explained. "Very relaxing and peaceful." The aliens exchanged glances that clearly showed they thought Marcus had suffered some kind of mental breakdown. "Dr. Thompson," Ambassador Keth said carefully, "extreme cold can affect brain function in biological organisms. Perhaps you should rest inside the station until the storm passes." Marcus laughed. "My brain is working fine. Jake, Lisa, do you want to come fishing with me?" "Sure," Jake said. "I could use some fresh air." "Count me in," Lisa added. "It's been too long since I went ice fishing." The 3 humans put on their cold weather gear and loaded the fishing equipment onto a small tracked vehicle. The aliens watched through their sensors as the humans drove away from the station into the heart of the storm. "This is definitely a psychological breakdown," Ambassador Keth told his crew. "Contact their Earth Command immediately. Tell them the humans are exhibiting suicidal behavior due to extreme environmental stress." At the lake, Marcus used the ice auger to drill holes through the thick ice. The automated system worked perfectly, cutting through 3 feet of solid ice in just a few minutes. Lisa set up the portable shelter while Jake activated the heating unit. "Communications check." David's voice came through their radios. "How's the fishing spot?" "Perfect," Marcus replied. "Ice is nice and thick. Should be good fishing today." Through the communication system, they could hear Vex talking to Ambassador Keth. "Their vital signs are stable, but they're engaging in completely irrational behavior. No intelligent species would voluntarily expose themselves to these conditions for recreational purposes." Marcus lowered the electronic fish finder into the water. The device immediately detected several large fish swimming below the ice. "Looks like we've got company down there, the humans," spent the next hour fishing in their heated shelter, catching several good-sized fish. The aliens monitored everything, still convinced they were watching the final hours of 3 humans who had lost their minds. Then the automated fishing equipment started malfunctioning. The electronic fish finder died first, probably due to the extreme cold affecting its circuits. The heating unit in the shelter began producing less heat, and ice started forming on the inside walls. "Equipment's acting up," Lisa said, checking the systems. "The cold is getting to the electronics." "No problem," Marcus said. "We can fish the old-fashioned way." He moved to the edge of the ice hole and knelt down. Without any warning, he pulled off his thick gloves and plunged his bare hands into the icy water. The reaction from the Valdari ship was immediate and dramatic. "Medical emergency!" Vex shouted. "Dr. Thompson has exposed unprotected skin to lethal cold water. He will suffer immediate tissue death and circulatory failure." Ambassador Keith was already contacting Earth Command. "This is Ambassador Keith to Earth Command. Your research team leader is experiencing severe psychological breakdown. He has just committed what appears to be an act of suicide by exposure." But Marcus was not dying. He was fishing. His hands moved smoothly through the cold water, feeling for fish with techniques his grandfather had taught him decades ago. The water was cold, but not unbearably so. His hands tingled, but they remained flexible and strong. "Got one," Marcus said calmly, pulling a large fish out of the water with his bare hands. "Impossible," Vex whispered, watching through their sensors. "Exposure to water at that temperature should cause instant frostbite. His hands should be frozen solid." Marcus caught another fish, then another. His bare hands worked efficiently in the icy water, showing no signs of damage or dysfunction. Occasionally, he would pull his hands out and warm them against his body, but then he would return to fishing. "How is he still moving his fingers?" Ambassador Keith asked, staring at the medical readings. "How is there still blood circulation in his extremities?" Jake and Lisa continued fishing with their equipment, while Marcus used only his hands. They talked and laughed, completely comfortable despite the extreme conditions. "This is the best fishing I've had in months," Marcus said, catching his 6th fish. "The cold keeps them moving slowly, makes them easier to catch." "Dr. Thompson," Vex's voice came through the radio, "our medical scanners show no signs of tissue. Damage in your hands. How is this possible?" "Human hands are tough," Marcus replied, still fishing. "We've been using them in cold water for thousands of years." After 3 hours of fishing, the humans packed up their equipment and drove back to the station. Marcus had caught 12 fish using only his bare hands. His hands were red and cold, but completely undamaged. "That was the most impossible thing we have ever witnessed," Ambassador Keith said as they returned. "Dr. Thompson, you have just done something that should have killed you, and you appear to be perfectly healthy." Marcus smiled as he cleaned the fish. "Wait until you see what we cook them over tonight. We're going to build a fire outside and grill these over open flames." The aliens were silent for a long moment. "You're going to do what?" Vex asked weakly. Marcus returned to Ice Station Omega carrying 12 fresh fish, his hands red from the cold but working perfectly. The aliens watched through their sensors as he cleaned the fish and prepared them for cooking. Their medical scanners showed no signs of frostbite or tissue damage. "This is scientifically impossible," Vex muttered, checking his instruments for the 4th time. "Exposure to water at minus temperatures should cause immediate cellular death in organic tissue. Maybe our understanding of biological limits is wrong," Ambassador Keith suggested quietly. Marcus decided it was time to really show the aliens what humans were capable of. "Jake, Lisa, let's cook these fish outside. I'll build a fire in the storm." "Sounds good," Jake agreed. "I'll get the cooking supplies." The 3 humans went back outside into the howling storm. The temperature had dropped even further to minus 61 degrees Celsius. The wind was so strong it knocked Lisa sideways, but she just laughed and kept walking. Marcus gathered some materials from their supply shed and built a fire pit about 50 yards from the station. Using chemical fire starters and dried fuel, he lit a bright flame that danced wildly in the wind. "Look at this," Vex said to his fellow aliens. "They are creating combustion in sub-zero temperatures with hurricane-force winds. This should be impossible." "Everything they do should be impossible," Ambassador Keth replied. The humans set up a cooking grill over the fire and began preparing the fish. The smell of cooking food drifted through the air, mixing strangely with the frozen wind and snow. "Communications." "Check," David called from inside the station. "How's the outdoor cooking going?" "Perfect," Marcus replied. "Fire's burning strong, fish are cooking nicely. We'll have dinner ready in 20 minutes. Through their communication link, the aliens could hear normal conversation and laughter from the humans. They were not struggling, not suffering, not showing any signs of distress. They were having fun. "Dr. Thompson," Ambassador Keth said over the radio, "would you be willing to answer some questions while you cook?" "Sure," Marcus said, flipping a fish over the flames. "What would you like to know?" Vex consulted his notes. "Can you explain how human biology allows for survival in these conditions? Our scientists need to understand this phenomenon." "It's mostly evolution," Marcus explained. "Humans developed in many different environments on Earth. Some lived in hot deserts, some lived in frozen mountains, some lived near the ocean. Over thousands of years, our bodies adapted to handle extreme temperatures. But what specific adaptations allow you to function in deadly cold?" Vex pressed. Lisa answered while seasoning her fish. "Our blood circulation system can adjust automatically. When it's cold, our bodies send more warm blood to important organs and reduce flow to less critical areas. We also generate heat by shivering," Jake added. "Our muscles create warmth by moving rapidly. And our skin has multiple layers," Marcus continued. "The outer layers can get very cold without damaging the deeper tissues." Ambassador Keth was recording everything. "What about the psychological aspects? How do you remain calm and functional in conditions that would cause panic in most species?" "Practice and attitude," Marcus said. "If you grow up with cold weather, it becomes normal. We learn as children how to dress properly, how to stay warm, and how to enjoy winter activities." "Winter activities?" Vex asked. "Sure. Skiing, ice skating, snowball fights, building snow houses. Cold weather can be fun if you approach it the right way." The fish finished cooking, and the humans sat on portable chairs around the fire to eat their meal. They were having a picnic in -61-degree weather with hurricane winds, and they looked completely comfortable. "This is extraordinary," Ambassador Keth said. "We need to share this information with the Galactic Council. Other species need to know about human cold weather capabilities." "Why?" Marcus asked. "Is it really that unusual?" "Dr. Thompson, in our survey of over 300 inhabited worlds, we have never encountered a species that can survive, let alone thrive, in conditions like these. Most biological life forms die when temperatures drop below the freezing point of water." Vex added more detail. "On our homeworld, if the temperature drops below 30 degrees Celsius, it becomes a planetary emergency. Our people must evacuate to heated underground shelters or they will die within hours." "Wow," Lisa said. "That must make space travel difficult for you?" "Very difficult," Ambassador Keth confirmed. "We can only colonize worlds with desert or tropical climates. Planets with cold regions are considered completely uninhabitable." The humans finished their meal and began cleaning up. Marcus poured water on the fire to extinguish it, creating a cloud of steam that froze instantly in the cold air. "Dr. Thompson," Vex said, "could you tell us about other human settlements in cold environments? Are there others like your team?" "Thousands," Marcus replied. "We have research stations in Antarctica where it gets much colder than this. We have cities in Alaska, Canada, Siberia, and Greenland where millions of people live normal lives in sub-zero temperatures year-round." "Millions of people?" Ambassador Keth repeated. Living permanently in freezing climates? That's right. They have jobs, families, schools, businesses. They go outside for work and recreation every day, even when it's -40 or -50 degrees. Jake laughed. Some humans actually move to colder places because they like the weather better. You mean humans choose to live in deadly cold by preference? Vex asked, sounding completely bewildered. Some do, Marcus confirmed. Everyone's different. Some humans prefer hot weather, some prefer cold weather. It's a matter of personal taste. The aliens were quiet for several minutes, processing this information. Finally, Ambassador Keth spoke. Again. Dr. Thompson, we owe you and your species a formal apology. When we first detected your settlement, we assumed you were trapped here by accident or equipment failure. We thought we were witnessing a tragic disaster. No apology needed, Marcus said as they walked back toward the station. You were trying to help. That shows good character. But we contacted your Earth command and told them you were all going to die, Vex said. We may have caused diplomatic problems. David's voice came through their radios. Actually, Earth command wants to talk to all of you. Admiral Peterson is very interested in meeting our new alien friends. We would be honored to speak with your leaders, Ambassador Keth replied. And we have much to apologize for. As they entered the warm station, Marcus realized that something important had changed. The aliens were no longer looking at humans as fragile creatures who needed rescue. They were beginning to see humans as they really were, a remarkably tough and adaptable species. Ambassador Keth, Science Officer Vex, Marcus said, would you be interested in learning more about human survival techniques? We could teach you about cold weather equipment and strategies. Very much so, Keth replied. This information could be valuable for our people's future exploration efforts. And, Vex added quietly, we are beginning to understand that humans might be far more remarkable than we initially realized. The storm continued to rage outside, but inside Ice Station Omega, a new friendship was growing between two very different species. 3 weeks had passed since the great storm ended. News of the ice fishing incident had spread far beyond the Valdari ship. Ambassador Keth had shared the story with the Galactic Council, and now alien species from across the galaxy were requesting meetings with humans. Marcus stood in the newly expanded communication center at Ice Station Omega. The room now housed advanced alien technology provided by the Valdari, allowing for long-range conversations with distant worlds. On the main screen, representatives from 5 different alien species waited to speak with him. Dr. Thompson, said Ambassador Keth, who had become the informal moderator for these meetings, I would like you to meet some other members of the Galactic Council. The first alien looked like a large bird with blue and green feathers. I am High-Flyer Zen of the Avis Republic. We evolved on a world with constant mild temperatures. The story of your bare-handed fishing has become legendary among our people. It wasn't really that special, Marcus replied. Just normal fishing techniques my grandfather taught me. A crystalline being that looked like living rock spoke next. I am Stone Speaker Ket of the Mineral Coalition. Our species requires temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius to maintain proper energy levels. What you did should have been impossible for any organic life form. The third alien resembled a large insect with multiple arms. I am High-Voiced Tricks of the Collective Swarms. Our workers die if exposed to temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius for more than a few minutes. Your survival in -60 degree conditions has challenged everything we thought we knew about biological limits. Marcus looked around the room at his team. Lisa was installing new alien heating technology. Jake was studying spacecraft designs from 3 different civilizations. And David was managing communications with 12 different worlds. Their simple research station had become the unofficial embassy between humans and the galaxy. Dr. Thompson, High-Flyer Zen continued, would it be possible for some of our scientists to visit your world's cold regions? We want to study human Settlements in extreme climates. I'm sure that can be arranged, Marcus said, though you might want to bring very good heating equipment. Stone speaker Ket made a sound like grinding rocks, which the translation system interpreted as laughter. Dr. Thompson, we understand that some human settlements experience temperatures even colder than what we witnessed here. That's correct. Some of our research stations in Antarctica regularly see -70 or -80 degrees Celsius. All the aliens on the screen fell silent. Even Ambassador Keth, who had grown used to surprising human capabilities, looked shocked. -80 degrees? Hive voice Trix repeated slowly. And humans live there voluntarily. Small numbers, yes, Marcus confirmed. Scientists, researchers, support staff, they rotate in and out, but some stay for months at a time. Incredible, Stone speaker Ket said. Our people always assumed that frozen worlds were completely lifeless. We never even bothered to explore planets with cold climates. Lisa joined the conversation from her workstation. You might be missing out on some beautiful worlds. Cold planets can have amazing landscapes and unique life forms. Speaking of which, Ambassador Keth said, the Galactic Council has a proposal for humanity. Marcus leaned forward. What kind of proposal? We want to invite humans to join the Galactic Survey Project. For centuries, we have been exploring the galaxy looking for habitable worlds. But we have ignored thousands of planets because they were too cold for our species to survive on. High Flyer. Zen continued the explanation. With human participation, we could explore ice worlds, frozen moons, and planets in the outer regions of solar systems, worlds that might have valuable resources or unique life forms. Humans would be perfect for this kind of exploration, Hive voice Trix added. You could go places that no other known species can survive. Marcus felt excitement building. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. What would be involved? Joint expeditions, Ambassador Keth explained. Human explorers working with alien teams to survey cold worlds. We provide the advanced technology and spacecraft. Humans provide the ability to survive in extreme environments. And the benefits would be shared. Stone speaker Ket added. Any resources discovered, any scientific breakthroughs, any colonization. Opportunities would be split fairly among all participating species. David looked up from his communication station. Marcus, I'm getting messages from Earth Command. They want to know if we're interested in this galactic survey project. What do you think, team? Marcus asked his colleagues. It sounds incredible, Jake said. Imagine exploring ice worlds with alien technology and human survival skills. The scientific opportunities would be amazing, Lisa added. We could study life forms and environments that no one has ever seen before. Marcus turned back to the alien representatives. We're definitely interested, but I should mention that the fishing incident that impressed you so much is pretty normal for humans. We have people who do much more extreme things. More extreme than bare-handed fishing in -60-degree storms? Ambassador Keith asked. Oh, yes, Marcus said. We have people who climb the highest mountains on Earth in weather that makes this look warm. We have people who dive under ice to explore frozen lakes. We have people who run marathons in sub-zero temperatures. The aliens exchanged glances that their translation systems couldn't interpret. But Marcus suspected they were expressions of amazement and disbelief. High Flyer Zen spoke first. Dr. Thompson, humanity has just become the most valuable exploration partner in the galaxy. Over the following days, plans began forming for the first joint human-alien expedition to a frozen world in a distant solar system. Earth Command approved the project enthusiastically, and the Valdari began modifying one of their ships for human use. Marcus found himself appointed as the first human galactic survey officer. The job would involve traveling to ice worlds throughout the galaxy, setting up research stations in conditions other species considered impossible, and proving that humans could thrive anywhere. You know, Marcus said to Ambassador Keth during one of their planning sessions, a year ago I was just a marine biologist studying fish in a frozen lake. Now I'm going to be exploring alien ice worlds. Sometimes the most ordinary activities lead to extraordinary opportunities, Keth replied. Your simple fishing trip has changed how the entire galaxy views humanity. What do they call it now? Marcus asked. The term that has become popular is pulling a Thompson, Vex said, joining the conversation. It means accomplishing something that others believe is impossible. Marcus laughed. I'm not sure how I feel about having a galactic saying named after me. You should feel honored, Ambassador Keth said. In the history of the Galactic Council, only 3 individuals have had actions become universal expressions. You are the first human to achieve this distinction. As Marcus looked out at the frozen landscape of Titan, he realized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their intelligence. It was their refusal to give up when conditions got difficult. Other species saw deadly cold and thought impossible. Humans saw the same conditions and thought challenging but doable. Ambassador Keth, Marcus said, when do we leave for the first survey mission? Next month. We have selected a planet covered entirely in ice, with surface temperatures averaging -90 degrees Celsius. The Valdari survey team will remain in orbit while the human team explores the surface. -90 degrees? Marcus said thoughtfully. I should probably bring some extra fishing gear. There might be something interesting living under all that ice. Ambassador Keth made the sound that Marcus had learned was Valdari laughter. Dr. Thompson, I have learned never to be surprised by what humans consider normal activities. The frozen wind of Titan continued to blow outside Ice Station Omega, but inside, humans and aliens were planning expeditions to worlds that most of the galaxy had written off as completely lifeless. It turned out that one species' impossible was another species' perfect fishing weather, and Marcus couldn't wait to see what they would discover together in the cold, dark places where nobody else dared to go.